Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Up the Posh. I'm Kev, and today we're going to be doing a live comm of the FA Cup third round match away to Fulham. But before we get into that, as you can see, we have been on a bit of a run of form since the last episode. We are now in exactly the spot that the media predicted we would be in at the start of the season. We've made it up into the playoffs, and let's have a look to see how we got there. So, the last game that we looked at in last episode was, I believe, the 1-0 away win to Wigan, which was notable for us completely dominating the match, absolutely controlling possession, creating lots of chances, but only winning by the one goal that was pretty much the first shot that we had in the whole match. Luckily, since then, we've eventually figured out how to score goals again. The game after that, it looked like we were going to carry on struggling with goals. It was a TV game, and it was 0-0 right up until the 87th minute when Sunderland decided to pop up and grab a winner. We were pretty much even for possession and shots. It was just a little bit disappointing. Get on TV, didn't really perform. But from that moment on, we've been on a run of form where we've, 6 games unbeaten. But most importantly, we've scored 15 goals in those 6 games and only conceded 4 times. So we're back into the kind of form that propelled us to the top of League One last season. So if we look at the first one of those, which was away to Middlesbrough, you'll see that Rolando Aarons is still banging in the goals. He pretty much has made that right wing position his own now. Marcus Maddison has come off the sulking list, but now can't find his way back into the team. He's played a couple of times as the advanced playmaker, but Aarons is getting a goal every other game from the right wing role, and I just don't see any reason at all to bring Maddison back into the side at the moment. So serves him right for sulking, really. So that was a 3-0 away win against Middlesbrough, which was a fantastic result. We followed that up with a 4-1 home win against Sheffield Wednesday. It was nice to have our strikers fit again for this match, although as you can see, Leandro Rodriguez picking up yet another knock in this match, and he is really struggling this season. When you compare his form this season to last season, he really isn't coping well with the step up into the Championship. I was making wild predictions last year of this guy playing in the Premier League by now, but he's only played 10 games, he's only got 2 goals, and most crucially, which is stopping him get any kind of run of games together, he keeps picking up little injuries. So that's a bit of a worry. Although there was only 1 injury on there, which is odd. He keeps going off with injuries anyway. They're perhaps not keeping him out, but he's really struggling for fitness. And is he out injured at the moment, or is he back? No, he is back fit again now. But that game, very nice to see the goals being shared around the players a little bit. Aaron's picking up yet another one. Connor Washington, now he's decided to stay. He's back in tip-top form, although he's picked up another injury, which is just ridiculous. After that one, we then went away to Southend. 2-0 win there, with goals from Marcus Maddison, where he was... I think we actually played him on the left wing in this match, purely because we were completely out of options. Oh no, we played him up front. I remember trying to find a way to get him into the match somehow. This was when Washington and Rodriguez and Cassia were all injured at the same time. So we've stuck Maddison in up front, and he's picked up a goal, not played too badly at all. So that's a position we might look at retraining him into, just to give him a way to find a way back into the team with Aaron's blocking his spot, and he played really well up front as well, which was very encouraging. And as you can see again, dominated possession, dominated shots. We really are starting to bed into this league and starting to control things. Next couple of games, didn't pick up a win, but we've kept the unbeaten run going. Firstly, with a 1-1 draw away to Rotherham. Rodriguez made it back in for this match, but just not his normal self. And I mean, I'm really disappointed to have only had 3 shots on target in this whole match. We just didn't get anything going. This was back into those dark days of controlling possession, tapping the ball around, but not really doing anything with it. And then the 0-0 draw to Southend isn't even worth looking at. Again, yet another different striker up front. This time Cassia. We're really struggling to get a player to play in that lone striker role for 2 consecutive games would be nice. And Gabby Zakwani got himself sent off in that match as well, and it was nice to be able to hold on to the clean sheet for 15 minutes with him not on the pitch. And then in our last match before this one, Bearing in mind those games were over the Christmas period as well, so there was a lot of heavy rotation of the squad. It was a game every couple of days. To finish off that run with a 5-2 win against Leeds was fantastic. Maddison back into the... Right, how have I lined them up here? Because I've got Maddison and Aaron's both starting. I don't even remember what I did. There you go. So we had Maddison on the right and Aaron's on the left. Okay, so again, looking at combinations to try and get both of those players in the team at the same time. And we actually started with James Keane up front in this match as well, and he's scored 2 goals. So he's perhaps emerging as an option to play in that lone striker role. And he's actually put in a transfer request because he wasn't getting any games. But now he's done that in pretty much his first start. In fact, that was his only start for the club. He's scored 2 goals, and overall he's got 4 goals in 6 appearances, and 5 of those appearances are off the bench. That probably is deserving of a starting spot for a decent run of games when we've been struggling for strikers so much. It would be weird as well for a player to emerge as top championship goal scorer who's not played in anything like a top division anywhere for the last 10 years, and his last UK club was Boston. So yeah, bit of an odd one. I wonder if he's this good in real life. I wonder if he exists in real life. Someone should track him down. If you know of James Keane in real life, feel free to pop some details in the comments. Let me know who he is, what he's up to, who he's playing for, if he is any good. We're going to get onto the Fulham match in a minute. The main reason I wanted to do this episode today, though, is because the transfer window is now open. Now, incoming business-wise, we're pretty restricted by the fact that we don't have any money to spend. It says we've got £250,000 transfer budget there, but what I've actually done is I was trying to convert all that to wage budget. I think I've converted as much as they'll let me. So we are actually, we're down to 0 on our transfer budget, and we're still slightly over on the wage budget. So there's not going to be anyone coming in unless they're a loan player. We might try and get the lad from Chelsea back in again, whose name I forget. Isaiah Brown, now he's fit again or returning to fitness. We might try and bring him on loan until the end of the season. But aside from him, I don't expect there to be anyone else coming in unless, and this is where it becomes a problem, we have players leaving, because obviously we've been really struggling this season with clubs coming in for players and the players then sulking because I don't sell them, and it really derailed us for the first half of the season. So I'm thinking we may have a new club policy, and basically if a player expresses a desire to leave, I'm just going to let them go and try and replace them, because I've played most of this season without Taylor, Maddison and Washington anyway, because they've not been in any fit state to play. So I may as well have sold them in pre-season and used the £7-8 million that would have brought in to bring in a whole load of new players who actually wanted to be at the club. So I am now looking to sell players if they don't want to be at the club anymore. Most notable of which is our club captain Gabby Zaquani, who is wanted by... who is he wanted by? How do we find this out? He's wanted by Leeds, who we've just smashed, so I don't know why he wants to go there. But he's already had a meeting with me, told me he wants to leave. If Leeds come in with anything like a decent offer for him, and by decent, I mean, let's have a look at his, I think his value is around about £1 million. And so if we load him back up again, so his value is 1.3 million. Realistically, I'm looking for something around 2-2.5 million. If they're going to come in with an offer of that sort of range for Gabby Zaquani, I'm going to sell him. Now, if we can bring in 2.5 million, that's going to give us, what's that? £600,000-700,000 to spend, plus it's going to free up some of the wage bill, and we're going to need to bring in a new defender, so that's going to be some potential business. Also on the wanted by other clubs list, we've got John Taylor, who at the moment is happy to stay at the club. Oh no, sorry, he's gone back to the sulking list again. He is flip-flopping between them like you wouldn't believe. So the club are interested. Doncaster in League 2 are interested in taking him on loan. So I can't believe that's unsettling him. That's obviously not going to happen. But if anyone comes in with anything like a decent offer for him, because he seems to be so inconsistent with whether he wants to be here or not, I don't know what he's moaning about at the moment. It can't be form, because we're in a fantastic position in the league. We're in good form. And it can't be that he wants to go on loan to Doncaster. So I think it might be a case of just getting rid of him, and then again that's going to bring in some kind of replacement. I'd be looking for something in the region of 2-2.5 million for him as well. And we've always got the danger that someone comes in for Washington or Maddison again, turns their heads. There's been interest in Cosy and Clay, Jack Baldwin, Jermaine Anderson. Anderson's out on loan at the moment, but there's still clubs looking to buy him because he's got such good potential. So we could realistically see 2, 3, 4 players leaving. In fact, look, we've got The most recent offer for Gabby Zakwani that's just been rejected was £1.5 million. They're going to need to give me a chunk of cash up front. I'm not doing any of this paying it over 12 months nonsense. I want £2 million up front, then they can have him. So there might be some transfer business, and my next episode is going to be the day after the transfer window closes, or the nearest match after that. So we have got, we're at home to Nottingham Forest on the 6th of February, so that's going to be the next match we do after this one, because we're then going to have a look at what happened in the transfer window. And it really is, as I say, going to be dictated based on who we've sold. But enough of all that. Let's get into this FA Cup third round match with Fulham. We've already played them in the league this season. We lost 2-1 away to them. But we've become a much better team since that point. So I would like to think that it might be possible for us to come away with some kind of result. We had a bit of a run in the Capital One Cup and ended up getting knocked out by Man United. It would be quite nice to get a run in the FA Cup as well, purely for the money that it's likely to bring in. Team-wise, we're off the back of 3 league fixtures on the bounce, so fitness-wise is pretty low. I'm playing Joe Lewis in the Cups purely because I'm playing him in the Cups. It's the only games he's getting, so there's nothing between him and Ben Anik, so he just gets the Cup games, and it just kind of keeps him interested, keeps him fit, just in case we do get an injury to Anik. The biggest worry for this match is we haven't really got anyone fit to play up front, so I'm playing Daniel Cassia purely because if anyone's going to get injured, I'd kind of want it to be him. I don't want to risk Rodriguez again. James Keane looked very good in the last match, so we're kind of playing the player we'd mind the least if they got injured, but this is the team that we're going to be going for. It's a bit of a throwing together whoever's close to fitness. Jack Payne isn't by any means a regular. Chris Forrest has barely played this season. And Joe Rothwell is not really a consistent starter. So we'll see. We're a bit tired after the Leeds match, but we did play incredibly well in that match. So Football Manager is one of those strange things where it will just be whatever the match engine decides is the dominant factor today. Is it more important that morale is high, or more important that fitness is low? I guess a lot of it depends on how Fulham are doing. The game considers Fulham to be favourites for the match. Let's see how they're lining up. We don't care what Fulham are up to. Let's focus on ourselves. There, another team lining up the same way we do. And we will get straight into this match. Realise I'm supposed to be commentating on this. I'm just sat here enthralled. I probably should have stayed quiet. I start speaking and they get a goal. That's not a good start to the game. Less than 2 minutes on the clock. We're 1-0 down. I don't know that we've touched the ball yet, actually. That's rather unfortunate. Let's have a look. Look at that. It's snowing as well. I should have just put the whole reserve team out. This is just going to be a big pile of injuries coming out of the back of this match. Right, we finally got hold of the ball. It looks like we're still doing okay possession-wise. Haven't created any chances yet. The game is still young. Although, please don't score again here, Fulham. See, the FA Cup's a strange thing. I don't know how it's going to affect the morale of the players. Do they really care? Should I have put out what's effectively the strongest team I could have played today? Oh dear, 2-0. Who is George Williams? Should I have heard of this player who scored 2 goals against us? Don't really know what to do now. I certainly don't want to sit here and commentate on getting absolutely hammered. Kind of don't want to get hammered. We should be on top of the world after the form that we've been in. We've raced up the league table lately, but I don't know, perhaps this is just one game too many on what's... the squad has been stretched. We have quite a big squad this year, but we have had a lot of injuries recently, which I guess are starting to take their toll, which is why we've got the likes of Jack Payne, Chris Forrester starting matches when they haven't really been at all. Well, at least we've had some shots now. The game's not over by all means. If we can get another goal back before half-time, then I'm quietly confident we can still see this one out. Come on, let's just Someone stick it into the top corner. The other thing, of course, is it did say at the start that Tyler Browning is captaining the side today, which I'm not sure how much of a good idea it is to have a young loanee captaining the side, but I've just left it on the auto selection of captain. If I'd have been picking it myself, it would have been Jack Baldwin, or even Cosy and Clay. They're both a similar sort of age as Browning, but they've both been at the club much, much longer and have played far more games than he has. So probably would have been better choices. Or of course Jack Payne as well is there. He's been a previous club captain in real life. Come on, Posh, let's just get a goal before half time. Oh, no, not Fulham. I said Posh. There we go. Just run that all the way through. Stick that in the back of the net. Go on. Never mind. I do remember many years ago in real life, well, not many years ago, I guess we're going back 4, 5, 6 years ago, going away to Fulham in the FA Cup in real life. Would that have been the 3rd round or the 4th round? I know we got hammered. I think it was like 5-0. Is that going to be a repeat? It's going to be a repeat of that. Admittedly, at the point, I think we were in League One and they were in the Premier League, so it's a little bit different. Because I think we are actually above them in the league, unless they're one of the top 4 teams. But I'm fairly sure they're not. Certainly, when we played them earlier in the season, we were both in the bottom half. So unless we've both charged at the league together, I can't say I pay a massive amount of attention to the league table in the early days of the season. It's kind of only about from now onwards that I'm going to be concerned with who is in what position and how far away from various teams we are. So for all I know, Fulham could be running away with things at the top of the league or 20 points clear at the bottom. They're certainly not playing like they're near the bottom. It's been a few matches since anyone's held us for possession in the same way as Fulham are. It's a very even match, even for possession, even for goals created. We've managed to pass the ball a little more than they have, but I imagine it's all taking place in fairly harmless areas, which is what good teams are making us do at the moment. We still haven't come up with a way to turn constant dominating possession into goals, but I'm sure we'll figure something out eventually, maybe, he says. Come on, let's have a goal here. I'm going to make a change in a second anyway. I'm just going to let this highlight finish, or if that had gone in, I wonder if that would have changed the plans for this change. For some reason, the spacebar isn't working to continue or pause the game. I don't really know what's going on there. It usually does, but let's bring Chris Forrester off. I'm going to stick Carriol on for him. So we've got a right footer out on the left wing, as per usual, and Cosy and Clay is struggling as well. So let's bring Tommy Hoban on for him, who can comfortably play out at left back. We'll leave it there for now. I'm not really trying to make any drastic changes to win this match. More than anything, I'm trying to minimise injuries. So if it stays at 2-0 and we get knocked out of the FA Cup, I'm not really bothered. It gives us a weekend off later in the month, I assume. Does the Championship get a weekend off for the 4th round of the FA Cup? Probably. It's one less game anyway, and that's the important thing. When we're struggling for fitness the way we have been, one less game is no bad thing, as long as we don't have the morale hammered by losing the match in a really humiliating way. Especially if we can pull a goal back, that would be ideal. 2-1 against a team of a similar sort of standard to us. I think every player at the club can live with that. But certainly Fulham are now looking like the more likely team to score. Oh, and that's exactly what they've just done. Can I make a change? I don't really know why I'm not just skipping the highlight. He looked offside there. But let's see if we can make a change. What can we do? What can we do? Let's bring Rodriguez on. He'll probably get himself injured now, but it would be wrong not to at least try and get a goal back. I hope I've not broken my spacebar. I don't know why that's not working. Ah, they've got an injury. At least it's not us. Come on, we don't need to watch him sitting down for too long. Kinda want this game to be over with now. We've got no chance of getting back into it, and I don't really care. So it's a bit of a weird situation to be in. It was getting so stressful losing games earlier in the season, and here's one that I don't really mind losing at all. Although it would be nice to get one back. I need a crystal ball, really. If the players aren't bothered with it like this, I'd just tell them to sit back and don't get injured. If this is going to demotivate them, I need a goal or two. Right, let's just have the game over now. We've dominated possession again. We can blame the goals going in on Joe Lewis being in goal rather than Ben Anik. So at least Anik's not going to be demotivated by letting in 3 goals. The defence, several of the first choice of them are out. So when the likes of Derby come back into the side, I suppose Clay was there. But we're missing Zakwani. It's kind of just Zakwani and Derby, I guess. Right, is that the final whistle now? Do we really have to go through the tension building? Will they, won't they highlight they always do at the end when we're 3-0 down? Go on. And they're going to go and score a 4th now. This is going to get to the point where it's affecting morale. We need that final whistle to come. It's not often I'm desperate for the final whistle when we're 3-0 down. There we go, that'll do nicely. Right, we will leave that there then. As I say, I will be back at the end of the transfer window. That could be a tale of many transfers, or it could just be the game against Nottingham Forest, which hopefully will see us still firmly inside those playoff positions. But if you've liked the video, make sure you pop a like on there. I would like to get this video to 20 likes. It does make a massive difference to the visibility of the channel and the success of the video itself. And get involved in the comments. Let me know how you handle transfers when players want to leave. That would be something I'd really like to have a chat about in the comments and in today's episode. Thanks very much for